Welcome back. It's fire here at the studio. I'm telling you, being between a Gen Z and a priest, no mean feat. By the way, you're also with Uraia.
Yes.
Dan Paul Andenga, civic educator, and Jeffrey Otieno, political analyst. And by the way, you're also budget facilitator.
Yes,
what does that mean? You make the budget to be real?
No, we facilitate sessions about budget and budgeting at the county level and also at the national level.
Okay, bila kizungu mingi. What does that mean?
Unaona sasa,
right.
Kila mwaka kunakuwa na matumizi ya kifedha.
Right.
To make sure sasa.
No. Just chat English. Just chat English.
Kwamba kila mwaka kunakuwa na matumizi ya kifedha. Public finance is spent every year.
Yes.
Swali ni hii pesa ya umma inatumikeje? Inatumika na nani? Na inatumika wapi? Na kwa nini inatumika?
Okay.
Kwa hiyo hayo ndio maswali sisi hufundisha watu.
I think you should educate that to our president of the Republic of Kenya.
Tumeshamwambia, but that's why tumesema aje.
Yes.
Unaona, ukiwa mwanasiasa,
yes,
jipange. Wewe ni mwanasiasa wa kuangalia vile fedha zinatumika. Ama wewe ni wa kutumia hizo pesa za umma.
But you agree with me, before we move on, you agree with me that the movement of the cabinet secretaries ahead of the president into central Kenya helped him win trust in the tour. It did something.
It definitely, because it's a feasibility study. Feasibility study.
Yes. You've just betrayed your tribe.
Yeah, to inform the gaps.
Yes.
Now, if their report was not a clean report, judge the president.
Okay, very fast.
Based on that report.
Turudi kwa siasa kidogo. Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Regarding retorts, regarding answers, regarding fires back, regarding what? Bombshell, what do you call it?
Regarding this bombshell.
Okay. After the tour, regarding made a statement. In the middle of war, was it Stones or what was it?
I think
PCEA.
I think
was it PCEA Wiki?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was PCA Wiki, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And whatever that I loved Rigathi, whatever that he said that he's ready to die for this country.
Okay.
Okay, to be honest, it's not that I'm supporting Rigathi. John, if you see two people are saying the same thing about you, what can you say about that? I don't want you to answer. Think about it. You know very well that Justin Muturi came out last week on Friday.
Right.
He said the same thing that Rigathi said on Monday. Remember very well that he said that president is dishing out the money, the public money, to other people. The president is doing business with other country. The same thing that he said is the same thing that someone that was close to the president, immediate person of the president. Yes. Do you think, is that true or is that not true?
Those are very serious allegations.
Yes, very, very
You
serious.
had Justin speak.
Yeah.
Those are very serious allegations for a former attorney to make concerning any leader.
Yeah.
Not forget about the president.
Yeah.
For the attorney to speak about corruption. Did you hear that statement?
Yes, I did.
That every project, you are speaking about projects, that for the president, every project, what is in it
For me.
for me? Isn't that very serious?
So
Jonah,
again,
before my brother here talks,
Right.
let me say something. In that allegation, who is telling who the truth? My problem with these two leaders, that is Justin Muturi and Rigathi Gachagua, why didn't mbona hawakusema hiyo mambo before the time they were in the government?
Yeah,
so that is the reason why so many Kenyans don't trust them.
Yeah.
You know the reason why? It's not that I'm talking about Raila Amolo Odinga. You know why people love Raila Amolo Odinga? Even other part. You need the time that Raila Amolo Odinga alikuwa kwa party ingine. He resigned, akakuja akaform party ingine na kura ikapigwa, jamaa akarudi na akapata hiyo kiti in Kibera. That is the reason why bado Raila anajulikana kama enigma, because of whatever that he did. These people used to work with the president. Walikuwa hapo the time that the president was doing that. Mbona wangesema hapana? They are waiting the time that wamefukuzwa kwa serikali ndio wanakuja wanasema that the president is lying, the president is doing what. That is the reason why so many Kenyans don't trust them.
Unajua Muturi alisema aje?
Right.
CS Muturi.
Yes.
Former.
Yeah, the former CS Muturi.
Yes.
Former magistrate.
Kindly to the mic. Kindly to the mic.
Yeah, if you didn't know, he was formerly also a magistrate.
Yes.
He said alikuwa ameshafanya kazi na Ruto kama member of parliament, legislature. Okay. Kazi yake ni oversight, ndio?
Right.
So when na akafanya kazi na Ruto kama attorney. Okay? And he has cases he has won. Muturi akasema on behalf of the government. Na kuna zile alilose. And according to him ilikuwa ni sawa kulose hizo cases. Na akaenda further akasemaje, before he could do his memoir, because we expecting he should do a memoir, isn't it?
Right.
Akasema, I wanted to have a feel of how it looks like in the cabinet, and I have. Ama kusema hivyo?
Alisema.
So that now nikiandika memoir yangu utapata insights za one, Muturi, legislature. Two, Muturi, attorney, his government. And third, Muturi, now a cabinet secretary. And then he summed it up. This man, I will not finish the statement. You know how we described our president.
Yes.
That was his summary. I don't want to go there.
Okay.
Because it is an opinion.
Yeah.
I wanted to further the discussion Jeff has brought to say that was there disharmony amongst the people our president chose? Yes. Maybe not.
You know,
now, as a facilitator of conflict and transformative conflict,
yes,
I say conflict can be positive and conflict can be negative.
right.
Conflict is positive when it's progressive, I form you to change and change for better. It is negative when it demeans your character and therefore character defamation. I expected, from where I sit, as Dan Paul, I expected that dissenting voices from the two should have come in before they were whipped.
Yes.
And I want to believe very many Kenyans wanted to see the same. But by the way, you would better get to know it now that never at all. So what former CS Muturi has brought out and what the former DP has, you know what is happening?
Yeah.
Their political alignments are beginning to merge, to form.
But even as that is happening, Jeff, it is very clear now, it is right there in the open, that even as you, the Gen Zs, are actually pushing for values and ethics in leadership, there are two huge things you will definitely have to deal with. Corruption. You know the other one?
Accountability.
Tribalism.
What tribalism?
Corruption and tribalism. It's becoming very clear. Don't forget that the president himself spoke about his deputy, former deputy, asking for how much was that?
He said
10 billion.
he said that his deputy had requested that he's given 10 billion to facilitate his move.
And the former DP had initially talked of 2 billion. You remember that? That he had been offered 2 billion, you remember that?
Yeah.
So it means, definitely, in the Kenyan leadership, there is an exchange of money.
So
Do you call this clean money?
no, it cannot be clean money. The control of budgets, the last time we were sitting here,
Yes.
he said, you remember when we were talking about 104 for a share, But
Yes.
that money didn't go through the consolidated account.
By the way, many of our viewers were shocked by that revelation.
Oh, it is true.
104. Is it in the public
It is in the report. Read.
SHA is costing Kenyans 104 billion to be paid within the next 10 years,
Yeah,
you say.
yeah. That's what I said.
And
just checking the
there are
report.
companies that own SHA.
Yes.
And
10
they
of them to be
will
precise.
only give it back to Kenyans
after the
10
10th year.
Yes.
So, but that aside, because we have skipped and gone further than that.
Okay.
If we could allow 104 to go outside the consolidated account, so nobody can trace it. So talking about 10 billion. Now the question here we are asking ourselves is about leadership and integrity. We're endorsing it up. The Constitution is very clear. Article 73 speaks about leadership and integrity, uongozi na maadili.
Right.
Actually, kwa Kiswahili nasema uongozi na maadili mema.
That seems to be what these Gen Zs are pushing for.
Yeah. Jonah, if you
That
see
seems to be what
a
they're
leader
pushing for.
coming out
Yeah.
saying that I'm not going to tolerate corruption. If
Yeah.
I find any leader in corruption cases, I'm going to fire him. Yet this is a leader that wants to offer someone 2 billion. If it's true, it's very something that is very sad. Someone that anasema kitu yenye afanyi and is a public figure. Remember that this is someone that is representing Kenya in the whole world.
Okay.
Coming out wants to give someone money so that he can resign.
What we are losing there, Jeff and Jonah,
Yeah.
from where I sit, is not even values. Because values are supposed to be inherent.
Inside you.
They're supposed to be inherent.
Yeah.
Like when I walk in, and if I walked into a public bus,
Yes.
it should just speak to me that an elderly person, older than I am, needs a seat and I give. I do not need to be told. It is inherent, it is within you.
Yes.
Just like it is within you that if you are given a plate of ugali, before you begin to eat,
Yes.
you go to do what? It is within you.
Okay.
That
I didn't see that coming. Did you just talk about ugali?
Yeah. I decided because that's a staple food for Kenyans.
Yes,
if,
yes.
If I were to
So
speak about in TZ,
Yes.
ningesema why?
Yes.
Because
No. You say before you take the ugali.
Every
pray.
You wash your hands.
wash your hands.
Okay. I thought you'd say pray.
No. You must wash your hands.
Okay.
And nobody actually tells you wash.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is inherently inside of you. So Kenyans know about values, but we have decided to distort the value systems
So it is clear
to
that-
suit
Yes.
our circumstances.
It is now very clear that whenever you are in Kenyan leadership, you will interact with dirty money.
Absolutely.
You have-
And that's why people pay to get into that system. So what Kenyans are missing, and especially leaders,
Yes.
are in national interests. What they have, politicians in Kenya, are self-interest, glamour for themselves. I want to go in. Juzi, I was in a symposium, a national symposium.
Right.
And in that symposium, we had one leader, elected leader. And as she spoke, so she said, think about me. I spent 10 million to campaign. When I get into power, what do I do the first thing?
Return my money.
I must return my money.
Yes.
So I think the electorate, the Gen Zs and ourselves must begin from today say, hatutaki pesa yako. But if you must give us your money, hatujakuuliza. How do you show that person hujamuuliza, don't even vote for them? You eat and you move.
Now,
So those national interests, utu, ule utu haupo.
Yes.
Utu is about integrity.
now
Utu is about inclusion.
this touches.
Utu is about self-respect.
Okay.
Utu is about no corruption. You begin it the smallest way you think how, and it works. That is why look at the states. When the current president took power, he said, America must regain its national.
Make America great again.
Yes.
But that is why also President Ruto and his team said
You are going far,
Kenya
Jonah.
Kwanza.
Let's come back here to Africa.
Yes.
Kenya Kwanza. You know
You
Kenya
have
Kwanza
seen
came from
The national interest,
but
Kenya number
he's
one.
not walking his talk. Let's come back here to, it's better for you to do it rather than speaking it. You have seen what Kibaki was doing. Kibaki was a very great president.
He spoke less.
Yeah, speaking less but doing great.
Okay.
Let's go back here to Africa, a country known as Burkina Faso. Even though the country is being led by military, is being led by Ibrahim Traore, who is a military, you have seen how this guy has transformed that country.
Okay.
He has really transformed that
Even
country.
Rwanda.
This guy talks less. There is nowhere that I've seen Ibrahim Traore going to rallies. There is nowhere that I've seen Ibrahim Traore going and inspecting roads. And this is someone that took the government through a coup.
I'm hearing you talking about Rwanda.
Even
What are you
yeah,
saying?
in the neighborhood. I mean, you don't need to go very, very far. Go just basically to the neighborhood.
Very good track record.
May I
for
make
development.
comparison between Rwanda and where we are?
Yeah.
And you can see, and that guy in charge of Rwanda was also a military.
Yeah.
It got into it was a coup.
Yeah.
And I'm not proposing that Kenya therefore should go that direction.
Not
but I'm
at
only
all,
trying to
not
say
at all. God
that
forbid.
I'm only because 82 I was a kid, and what I was told happened in 82, I would have wished
Yeah.
to feel it myself.
John? Yes,
But
it's true.
and that is what the Gen Zs need to learn. That you can actually
Yeah.
bring a change
Change.
without
And
being
remember,
acrimonious.
remember these
That's
are
what
young
we need to
leaders.
do. That speaks of the power of what you're talking about.
Abs-
The power of public participation,
Absolutely.
civic education,
Absolutely.
civic engagement, without bringing down the country.
Jonah, I know how to get here from where I live.
Sorry, I cut you short.
No,
Remember your
problem.
point.
I was agreeing to the point.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
I know the route that comes to Sign TV.
Yeah.
Right.
If at any one point I will be on my way coming to this place,
Right.
and I find that road barricaded, do I have reason to ask us why?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's public participation. But assuming that I do not know the route that comes to Sign TV, what justification do I have asking anybody why you have barricaded this road? Is it my business? That's where we go wrong.
So what you're
Are
trying
you,
to
are you getting the
I'm
difference?
getting the point.
Yeah.
So it means that public participation for the upcoming Gen Zs
Very important.
is very key for them to bring change. Is there a word like seamlessly?
Very, very-
without messing up.
You don't
because
need
at
to.
the end of the day, you remember the general
Yeah.
who spoke and said, these are mental health problems. You remember him saying that?
Yeah.
The reason, I think, as a host of this show, I think the reason why he spoke to that is because he understands we are a democracy, but we don't have to ban the country.
No, because this Kenya, I mean, if you ban this country, I mean, where do you run to?
Jonah, let me tell you something about us
Right.
Gen Z. The good thing with us, we are tribeless. We don't have tribalic language. You saw even the finance bill protest.
Right.
People are working together. There is no one, even us as Gen Z, unaweza piga na mtu story na hata hauwezi muuliza unatoka wapi, unaishi wapi. Hawataka kujua hiyo. Kama story inaenda. But what about our parents? Akiongea na mtu kwanza, before ataongea na mtu anamuuliza, wewe ni wa wapi bwana? Wewe ni wa wapi? Unaona?
Right.
That's our parents. Hata before ongea na mtu amepatana na mtu, habari yako, wewe ni wa wapi? Us as Gen Zs, we don't have that issue of being tribal, and that is what can make us to be great. But the bad thing with us Gen Z is that we don't want to be led.
Like I received phone calls last week. You remember when I spoke here about me being subbed?
Yes,
I said part of me.
You said part of you is about.
Yes. So I received phone calls from the Luya side, Bukusu side.
Oh, the wonder.
Yeah, they were saying, kwani ulituruka? You know.
You see?
Okay.
And I'm
Yes.
sure the people
Yes.
that were asking you that were the old people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
My
that's the
uncles,
reason why I'm
my-
saying
my
that.
uncles, yeah.
The reason why the president right now is jumping on Gen Z, if you can see him, is trying to remove those leaders that were back then. He removed Muturi. He replaced him with the Mbere North MP. He's
Right.
a young leader. He removed his Minister of Water, a young champ. Young people, Kimani Ichung'wah,
Yes.
Nyoro, small people. That is what the game that the president is using. The president knows very well
Yes.
that right now the Gen Zs are so many. This is the method that this president is going to use. If Gachagua is not careful, if Kalonzo is not careful,
Yes.
the president is going to use a backdoor and win the 2027 election.
Ethnicity card, ethnic profiling, ethnic. Please shed to light this. Ethnicity,
You know,
ethnic. You know,
I
by the are you Luya or Kamba?
yeah. So
Yes,
so actually, so my name is Andenga
right,
Dan Paul.
right.
So by virtue of that name alone, you can already put a clause.
Yeah,
As to
I already can put you in Huisero.
It's either Huisero Luya or it's either game
Yes.
the Luo.
Yeah.
Right,
Because
right.
there's so and Adega in among the Luos. No?
Yeah.
Right,
They put
right.
it that way.
Mm.
Because we border, we are on the boundary of game and game
Right.
constituency and Huisero in
Right.
Kakamega. So we speak both. I can speak very fluent Luo.
Right.
And I can speak very fluent Luya,
Mm.
the ethnic called Kisa.
Okay.
So the constitution again,
Right.
being our mother law, speaks about who is a Kenyan.
Yeah.
It speaks about anyone,
Oh no! Can you believe it? Time is gone.
anyone born in this country.
Yes.
So you can be a Kenyan by birth. You
Yes.
can be a Kenyan by registration.
Mm.
Now those who are
Very
Kenyan,
fast as you
those who
wait.
are Kenyan
We have
by
only
birth,
2
for
minutes.
example,
Yeah.
when they subscribe to certain tribe, there is absolutely no problem belonging to a particular tribe. No problem.
You think so?
But no, I disagree with you.
But the problem
is
the problem, my
the
son.
problem is that
Let him
that
finish.
tribal politics
That's
is the
what I'm
one
calling.
that is making us to go down
That's
as a
why-
country. That is the biggest
that's
thing.
why I
And that
call
if
it-
you are not
Yes.
able to throw away with this tribal thing, the country is going nowhere.
That's why I'm calling it negative ethnicity.
Yes.
Being of an ethnic background, no problem.
Yeah.
That's why they say we have 42 plus ethnic groups.
Yeah.
But when you profile that ethnic of someone, when you stereotype it,
Wow, we have to
Do
finish.
you know the reason why?
We have to finish.
that's where it goes.
1 minute. We have to finish. My producer is telling me time is gone. Just before they remove us from air.
Yeah.
We will come back. Promise me we'll come back again.
God willing.
And
Yeah.
God willing. And
God's
talk about
plan, yeah.
corruption, tribalism. Will the Gen Zs manage to deal with that?
Gen Z.
These are things that brought down their fathers. You know
Of
that.
course
yeah?
it did, yeah.
We hope
History.
it doesn't
Yeah.
bring
History shouldn't be.
this generation down.
It shouldn't.
Viewers, give us your views. 01198 0384. We have been with Dan Paul Andenga, civic educator and budget facilitator, Nairobi County, and Jeffrey Otieno, political analyst. My name is Jonas Simba. This has been Politics Today. See you next week. Bye bye.
Thank you.